Is pain bad? Bad is a judgment. It's not good. It's bad. Is it indeed bad? Or is pain just what it is? Pain. And perhaps it might even be good. Now, we don't like to go through pain, no doubt, but think about it for a moment. Why would God give you pain? Because after all, everything does come from Him. God gives us pain. Well, let's take an example. If you have pain in your tooth, why would you have pain? For one simple reason. It's an indicator that God, in His goodness, is telling us you got to fix something before it's too late, and you might lose your tooth. So the pain is an indication that something needs to be fixed, which really means ultimately pain is a blessing. Because if we didn't have pain when our tooth hurts, then we would probably lose our tooth. Likewise with any other thing. If we didn't have pain in our arm from something, then, it would deteriorate perhaps whatever, malady there was, and we wouldn't fix it. So pain is just an indicator to fix something. Now, unfortunately, we want so much to be painless in life. Now, we're always looking for the path of least resistance. And because we see it as suffering. But really, pain is not suffering unless you choose to suffer, or maybe on autopilot, we have come to suffer because of pain. But if we will now look at it, that really it's God's goodness, that He gives us pain so we fix something before it can't be fixed. So that's in a physical sense, and likewise in a spiritual sense. We go through emotional pain, psychological pain. And the reason for that is, again, not that we should suffer. We could choose not to suffer. We could choose to act in a divine way and recognize that this is for my benefit and try to fix and to grow from the pain. As a result, there won't be any suffering. And not only won't be any suffering, even better, there will be true growth of the individual. That is the story, the painless story of pain. Recognize it's God's goodness that wants us to open up our eyes to something that we need to look a little deeper to bring healing, whether it's to our body and even more so to our soul. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadesh in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We are in the 22nd letter. In this letter, the Alter Rebbe, with great fondness and love, is rebuking his Chassidim that they are seeking him out for their human, painful experiences, that they need guidance and blessings, rather than recognizing, as the Alter Rebbe says it, sages are there to help a person in their Torah study and in their connection to God to become more closer to God. but not there to help in material, mundane things. And why would you seek out a sage for mundane things? So says the Alter Rebbe in today's class. However, I shall relate the truth. Those who want to listen to me, love upsets the natural order of conduct and covers over the eyes and prevents people from seeing the truth because of the great love that a person has for their body. And when their body is in pain, they don't like it. Now, the Alter Rebbe says, although, and this is, most people, pain in the body is just, something you don't want, period, because you don't want it. But although his Chassidim, they suffered, right? They had, they were impoverished, I know, other physical ailments and all the sorts of things, right? And this love of the body that they did experience was for the sake of heaven, so that their body could better serve God. So they weren't doing it as one might to just, I want to have a painless existence. No, that's not what they were looking for, a painless existence. They were looking for a painless uh, experience of life in order they actually could pray better and they could study Torah better, because it is difficult. So the Alter Rebbe is, recognizing that their desire for this is not just for the physical benefit, but actually for the spiritual benefit, right? That they could serve God better, have more love of God, and therefore, um, they become even extreme in their um, when their body goes under any kind of suffering, in order to relieve themselves from it, in order that they can serve God better, right? But he says that as a result of that, um, they're not able to hear the advice appropriately. That he and what they do is seek advice and go far and wide to seek the advice. Hmm. But that's not the path they should take. Because indeed, why did God cause the suffering to begin with? Moreover, the response to life's difficulties, says the Alter Rebbe, it's not proper to seek advice from Torah sages and the righteous. Why? Because these afflictions are only coming there in order that we fix something in our lives. So, which means that we have to turn to God and do tshuva. We have to do tshuva. We have to humbly submit ourselves to Hashem and to accept the chastisement from God, that it's coming with love from God. He's chastising me by giving me pain, that it's coming with a love of God. As is known, God chastises those that he loves. Like a parent chastises their child and not the neighbor's child, because the neighbor's child is not theirs, but their own child is. So the one that you love, you chastise. So if you have any suffering, it's God chastising you. And the only reason he's doing it is out of love, in order that we do tshuva, we do penitence, we come closer to him. In other words, the Alter Rebbe is saying, it's not, don't seek to undo the pain, just like that. Seek to, that's what I'm looking for. Seek to find the root cause of the pain, which is a spiritual thing, because everything in the physical evolves from the spiritual. As a teacher of the Alter Rebbe, his Rebbe, the Mezritcher Maggid said, a small hole in the body, a small ailment in the body is a big ailment in the soul. So when we recognize that and we look inward into ourselves to fix that ailment from within, then there'll be healing from without, which is pretty phenomenal. Pretty, pretty phenomenal, pretty awesome. The it's in our hands, in other words, not even to go seek advice from a tzaddik, a sage, but through our tshuva. Now, there's a very lofty level. Well, we have access to it, of course, and it's something to be very mindful of when we are having experience of some physical ailment, pain, or spiritual ailment, emotional one. Um, Now, as I mentioned yesterday, I mentioned again, the Alter Rebbe, after this letter, as he did before, still blessed the people, still gave them advice. And in our generation, our dear Rebbe did it even more so than ever before. So the Rebbe did not stop to help. The way I take this letter is that we shouldn't just look to be absolved of the pain without looking inside for the source of the pain. And then inside, meaning spiritually, and to do tshuva, that's called fixing. And at the same time, the way I take this and the way I'm suggesting is that we, of course, take this to heart, obviously, but at the same time, um, we should ask for the blessing, right to the oil of the Rebbe. If you have something that is, difficult for you, challenge for you, painful, you might even be suffering, God forbid, right into the oil for a blessing. Absolutely. And as the Alter Rebbe says over here, with the intent that not just to remove the suffering or the pain, because no one likes pain, but because through this you can't properly study your Tanya, pray to God, right? As I experience it, and we all experience that. So yes, absolutely important. Um, I suggest both things. Alter Rebbe again is only speaking about the one thing here, but even after he wrote this, again, he was advising and blessing the people in mundane things and things that were difficult for them and challenging for them and even painful. All right. Tonight, through for the next 3 days, there will not be any online classes because it's the holiday of Sukkot. So today's the last Tanya until Sunday. Yeah. Um, Okay, Rambam is coming up next. So, for all those who are Jewish, please make sure you visit a sukkah, eat in a sukkah, make blessings in a sukkah, lulav and esrog, the four kinds to make the blessing, and do that mitzvah. Very important. And right. So, Elizabeth, I'm not clear on what you're saying. Fear, anxiety, the anniversary didn't bother me, but the return to the Sukkot is making me terrified. Because of October 7th? Is that what you mean? Well, um, we really believe that everything is divinely orchestrated. We have to come and celebrate now, as difficult and painful as it might be. Pain doesn't mean it has to go away, but pain means we don't turn it into suffering. And what we do, because it is Sukkot, and because Simchas Torah is coming, we have to um, celebrate and not minimize the celebration. On the contrary, make it max it. That's the healing. That's the fixing that we need to do. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you for Chabad Tzurich in Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you Tanya. Rambam coming up next. Join us. Have a great